Hey, everybody, it's Congressman Jamie Raskin on Friday, January 19th, coming to you for my favorite time of the week, Local Hero, when we get to recognize the people who are making life so rich and wonderful here in Maryland's beautiful 8th District. It's National Poverty Awareness Month. And so my mind immediately goes to the community action agencies and specifically to the Montgomery County Community Action Agency. And we're recognizing its acting executive director today, who's normally the program manager, Charlene Mohammed. Um, and she has been instrumental in this agency, which advances social and economic mobility through services, partnerships, advocacy in the community. It is Montgomery County's federally designated anti-poverty agency, and it operates out of our Montgomery County Health and Human Services Agency. Charlene, for all of the work that you've done as program manager, that you've been doing recently as acting executive director, and that you do in the community, we want to recognize you as our local hero this week.
Well, thank you. I'm so honored to be here and to continue the work that we do within Montgomery County for the most vulnerable populations. We know that each one teach one, and so that's the goal of this community action agency. We're big on advocacy and empowering the community members to take charge of their own self-sufficiency.
And we've been through, or you've been through, I should say, great social and demographic changes in Montgomery County since you started work with us several decades ago in the last century. Talk about what some of those changes have been, and then what have been the differences during these periods, but also what have been the common themes that you observe.
Well, certainly, I was sharing earlier that I actually started working in in Montgomery County when we were implementing the early Head Start programs in the late 90s, early 2000s. And the test center at that time was located across the street from where it is today in Tacoma Park. And what's interesting is that when I first started, the population there was primarily Asian, and then we saw the changing the population changing to more Latinx, and now more recently we're seeing an influx of East Africans coming in. So what we've done our best is to assure that the staff that are serving the community reflect the community that they serve because they understand the language and the unique needs, as well as the cultural nuances that are important for when you're working with different populations. It can be just those different cultural nuances that can make or break relationships, as well as the trust that we want them to have within the Department of Health and Human Services and what we're offering. But the needs stay the same. It's housing, it's food, it's language access, it's childcare, it's adult education, it's employment. So all of those things don't really change. However, how we can advocate and support and connect these different populations within HHS is the goal that we have. So what Community Action has also grown to is this navigation unit as well. So we have TESS, which is our little satellite location in Tacoma Park. But now we have a cadre of what we call navigators who are deployed throughout Montgomery County, Up County, East County, in the central area of Rockville and Wheaton. And while navigators are in the fields doing the same work, supporting those connections of right where our constituents are living so that we can connect them to the services that they need.
That's awesome. And you mentioned that the primary goal is to give people a set of supports that then promote them to self-sufficiency so that they're able to find their way and educate their kids and get health care and so on. How's it going? I mean, to what extent have you been seeing success in terms of lifting people out of poverty and getting them into that space of self-sufficiency?
I think that we've been making great strides. Of course, human support needs human capital, so we can always use more to support the communities that we serve. One of the best indicators that we have is what we call um, our Community Advocacy Institute. And so that is an institute that was started maybe 5 years ago. And basically, it is a program where community members can um, join for a year and whenever who's ever interested in advocacy and whatever issues that they want to advocate for their community. They come in, and for 9 months, we do a variety of different workshops, teaching them how to write testimony. We practice testimony. We meet with our county council members who also support workshops and whatnot. And so I think that that's one of the best indicators that we have. That program has grown to the point that now we do it in 2 languages. It's completely bilingual. And we have a significant number of alumni that have gone through each year who stay with us. So it's not only a year, but then they stay as alum, and we've seen them grow too, joining different, gaining employment, joining different local boards, as well as other advocacy organizations with their skills.
Tell us about the partnerships that you engage in,
Mm.
and is that something that means that the whole is really greater than the sum of the parts?
Definitely. So within Community Action Agency, we partner with, I think, around 31 different local nonprofits to help the county outreach and support the community needs. And then, of course, it runs all of the gamuts of self-sufficiency. So we have partnerships with local food organizations, with employment organizations, with faith-based organizations as well, legal aid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, look, I mean, as we're observing National Poverty Awareness Month, um, do you have any closing thoughts as to things that people should be thinking about, how we can integrate into our own lives consciousness of other people's poverty, but also other people's striving and desire to get into the great American middle class of everyone's dreams?
Yeah, each one teach one. And I think, everyone can do something. I have a motto that I live by: do what you can where you're at with what you have. And so if you, if each one of us just thinks about that in the work that we're doing, we can support someone who has less than we have. That was all of President Johnson's initial idea with the war on poverty, is that no
Yeah.
one is greater than the least of us. And so the more that we can empower the least of us, the greater all of us begin to grow. And so um, I let's not forget the most vulnerable of our community.
Well, I appreciate that very much. You know, when the Maryland delegation is in Washington, we're fighting for money for the SNAP program, for investment in housing, for healthcare for everybody. But the truth is that even if we can get funding into the social infrastructure, as the Biden administration has been working so hard to do, it only becomes real and meaningful when there are people like you and the people you lead who are actually concretely giving people that assistance, that tutoring, that education on how to access the programs and resources they need so they can, continue their journey.
Yes.
Thank you for everything that you do.
And thank you for everything that you do and supporting us and advocating for us, because we know that you're in quite the struggle yourself.
Well, I appreciate that, Charlene, and I'm so grateful to you for your hard work. And you are our local hero this week. So I hope everybody takes a moment to honor your amazing hard work and your commitment to making us really one community. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.